Hello students, Professor Watts here. I'm going to show you the quick and easy way to bring data from the PDF file into Excel. So I opened a new Excel workbook here, and I've got my PDF file with all the tables and data open in another screen. You don't technically have to have it open, but I'm going to have it open so I can kind of check and see as I go that I'm getting everything correct. What you want to do in Excel is go to Data tab, and then way over to the left side of the ribbon, click Get Data from File from PDF. Find that PDF on your hard drive. There it is right there. I've practiced this earlier, so it's ready for me. Hit open. Okay, then it's going to give you this navigator. Now, Microsoft's smart and they know exactly what we need here, so they set this up to be as painless as possible. So what this is going to do is basically scan that PDF and then find anything that's kind of in tabular form. So there's several things in the first several pages that we don't need. I'm looking on my other screen and I see that the first thing we need, which is the main company's balance sheet, is on page 10. So that's going to be this item here. And sure enough, current assets, current liabilities. So that's that balance sheet data. So I'm going to need that, but I'm going to need several other things too. I'm going to need that company's income statement, and then the possible acquisition companies and everything else. So I want to click the select multiple items, and I'm going to go ahead and select what's on page 10. I'm looking on my other screen. I see that in the PDF. Let me bring that over so you can see what I'm looking at. Page 10. There's their income statement 11. Okay, and I basically want all this stuff. So there's the other company, income statements, the balance sheets, income statement, balance sheet, comparable transactions data, and then the market data. So that goes all the way through page 17. So let me slide this back over here. I basically want everything from 10 through 17. So I've got it all selected. Now I want to click on, let's see, we could transform that data. If we click on that transform data option here, we could transform this within this navigator before we even dump it into the spreadsheet itself. Or you could just dump it into the spreadsheet itself and transform it over there. I'll go ahead and do this within this navigator. So what I want to do, so for this thing on page 10, notice it gives me a bunch of these null columns because of the way that it was formatted in the PDF. They had the like dollar signs kind of in a separate column. So I can just right click on the top of this and remove. Just remove all this extraneous stuff. Remove, 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 and I should have 5 years worth, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay, so that's good. So that was what I needed to do with table, the page 10 one. Let's see, same thing here. I can remove this extraneous stuff where it just kind of picked up weird formatting. So I have my income there. I should have 10 years of data for this. And we might have to go back and plug in a few little like headings and formatting, but it'll be a lot easier than typing it from the PDF. Agreed? And you go on and you do this. You clean these up for every item we selected. Okay, so let me do that, then I'll jump back to us. Okay, so once I'm all done cleaning that stuff up within that navigator, in the top left of that, I hit the button that says load data. So it loads it into the spreadsheet, and this is what I get. So what I've done is I found the one that's the balance sheet for the main company, and I renamed it. So I clicked on the tab and I renamed it appropriately, and then I slid it all the way over to the left because I'm going to put this from left to right in the same order that it is in the PDF. Now Excel gives you this as this table, so you'll notice that they kind of add these color coding, and then they add the columns at the top, which they just arbitrarily named column 1, blah 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 blah. We actually don't want that. So the first thing you need to do, and let me show you this on the other one because I've done this already on those two. So this column, this one here, for example, it's got these columns with these drop down arrows where we can sort it and stuff, and we do not want that. That's not formatted. We want it just as a regular spreadsheet. So if you select that whole thing and go up to table design, and then notice you can click this convert to range. And I say, yes, I want to convert it to range. And then I want to actually get rid of that column heading row. And I've actually already done this. Actually, I need to still delete this. So I did that for the balance sheet data for UDA. So let me come back to them. And let me just format it a little bit. I'm looking at the PDF on my other screen, and I don't have to get this exactly formatted like that, but I want to clean it up just a little bit. So first of all, I kind of don't like the row highlighting. You can keep that if you want. I do want to make this bold. I want to underline. Actually, first of all, I want to add some spaces because I want to space out the asset section and then the liabilities and equity section. Looking at the one in the PDF, I'll put a line below total liabilities and equity. I'll put maybe a double border on that or something. And they also spaced out this stuff down here. This final row down here, this is actually a percent, so let me format that as a percent. I think that's net working capital as a percent of current liabilities. You could actually run that as a calculation in Excel if you want to. We might as well just leave raw data for now. Everything else in here is dollars, right? So let's select all of it. Let's format it as dollars with 1 decimal point. Let's also write down that this is dollars are in thousands because that didn't get transferred over. Put that in italics. Okay, and then I'll do some underlining. I'll underline before we do the totals. I'll do a single underline. I'll put my totals in bold. Maybe you can do whatever you want. You just want to make it kind of presentable because this will be included in the packet that you hand to the judges. So you want to do this and make sure everything's cleaned up. Notice that I noticed in here that they didn't space something out there, so let me fix those. So just kind of go through and eyeball this and make sure it's clean and everything looks good. And then you'll, of course, do this to every sheet and you'll save the file. Now there's still a little bit of busy work here, but a lot less than you've actually had to manually transfer everything from the PDF to this. Okay, so you go through, do the same procedure every time here. I'm going to delete that thing. I'm going to, let me just show you on the income statement, we lost the year data at the top, so I'm going to have to actually insert a couple rows, and this goes from, referencing my PDF on the other screen, this goes from 2018 to 2027. Yeah, so if you start the sequence and then fill it, Excel will guess that. Let's center that. Let's underline it. The top line of this is year ending December 31st, and then we can merge those cells and center that and put it in italics. We can put this in bold and all this kind of fun stuff. And then we can put spaces where we want to put spaces, and we can format. Well, what are we formatting stuff as here? Some of it is dollars and some of it's percents. So I'm going to highlight everything that's dollars, holding control to select multiple things at a time. So I'm going to select everything here that's dollars, and format it with 1 decimal point. Everything else then is going to be a percent. So select all those, holding Control Shift 5, and they have 1 decimal point on that. And then you can add spaces, you can add underline, stuff like that, make it look pretty. Oops, I missed this one down here. Control Shift 5, add a decimal point. Okay, so you want to go through and do this for every single data point. Notice that on this one is kind of something we need to glue together with another. This is the last thing on page 17 of the comparable or the market data. Oh, this is the treasury yield stuff. So the page 17 stuff, we have to kind of stick it all together as one. So let's do that. So this is the first thing on page 17. Second thing on page 17. I'm going to just cut it from here and paste it to here. Okay, we did lose a few things, so we're going to have to retype. For some reason, this process isn't perfect, so we're going to have to retype the headings here. Company debt. Okay, so I have to type all that stuff in and format it and make it all look appropriate. So I'm going to make this one not a table. So you do have to go through and do all this stuff. It's not going to be too bad. Okay, so I can now get rid of that because I moved it. And then this one, treasury bill yield data, I can cross that off, move it to here, make it just a range. Okay, and so on and so forth. Delete this. Okay, so you'll do all this, you'll compile everything, you'll format everything, then you'll rename it, and you'll have a nice clean spreadsheet to work with, and then you can start your valuation procedures. Come and see me, of course, at any point in time if you need help or guidance with any of this. Ciao.